all our value concepts would just be floating randomly in space if there weren't some anchor, something that defined the value of everything else by being perfect. And that,
It's kind of like when you
again,
draw
is God. This is
an
how
object
Aquinas
without a
developed number
shadow.
4, known as
You need a
argument
shadow
from
to
degree.
pin it in
Socrates
space,
counted degrees.
right?
In order for there to be degrees of perfection, there must be something perfect against which everything else is measured. God is the pinnacle of perfection. Okay, we've considered Aquinas' 4 cosmological arguments, but remember, that's only step 1. The next and equally important step in philosophy is critical evaluation. So what do we make of them? As philosophers, if you think an argument is flawed, it's your job to try and figure out why. And by and large, philosophers, theists and atheists alike, have been relatively unimpressed by these 4, having found many problems
Well,
in
I
them.
see
For
why
one
they
thing,
would
these
think
arguments
the
don't seem to establish the
last one
existence
was,
of any particular
they'll
God.
say
Even
God
if the
is not
arguments are
perfect
correct, it doesn't look like
because
Aquinas gets
whatever,
us to the
and then
personal,
cry
loving
about
God
that,
that many people pray to.
and
Instead,
then
we're left
just
with
say
unmoved
that God
movers
doesn't
and
exist.
uncaused causers who seem to have little in common with the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God who feels emotions and cares about his creation and answers prayers. Basically, this objection says that Aquinas' God is so far removed from the God that theists actually believe in that it doesn't help anything. But maybe you're happy just believing someone's out there, that's fine. But then, how about there's nothing in any of his arguments to prove that God isn't actually like a committee? Aquinas' cosmological arguments also don't prove the existence of a sentient God. So it might be an old guy with a...
Well, more than one God doesn't make sense, because they would be fighting each other. Or, who said that the committee would agree on everything? It's like, just like I said, they would fight each other. So
beard, it might be
there
6
would be
old guys
chaos.
with beards, but it also might be an egg, or a turtle, or just a big block of stone. These observations have made some philosophers uncomfortable with Aquinas' ultimate conclusion. But there are 2 objections that are thought by some to be real nails in its coffin. The first is simply that Aquinas was wrong in his insistence that there can't be an infinite regress of anything. Aquinas takes it as a given that there had to be a starting point for everything, whether it's the movement of objects, or causes and effects, or
Well, didn't lots of these philosophers, they say that before we learned that the universe is finite? So it's kind of an old argument, like that, there could be an infinite regress, because they thought that the universe could be infinite, but we know that it's not now.
Beings being created. But it's unclear that this is true, or why it has to be true. If infinite regress can be possible, then Aquinas' first 2 arguments fall apart. But perhaps the
But then
most
you would have to
significant
prove that, right? That it is possible.
charge made against
And it's not
Aquinas'
really
arguments is
logical
that
to
they're
say that.
self-defeating. That is, they actually prove themselves wrong. For example, if Aquinas is right that everything must have been put into motion by something else, and everything...
Okay. Oops.
...then it seems that God should be subject to those same stipulations. And if God is somehow
Oh
exempt
my
from
gosh. Because God is God. It's like, whatever.
rules, then why couldn't other things be exempt from them too? If they can exist without God
Because a rock is not God, okay? A person is not God. You have a beginning, but God doesn't.
responsible for them, then we don't need God to establish things.
That's the
in the
definition
first
of
place.
God,
Right.
that he
I feel
doesn't
like
have a
I've given you a lot
beginning.
to think about. So before we close, let's pause and
My
remind
God.
ourselves
It's
about
because you have to know
things.
what God is. God is not
First, you can accept a conclusion but reject an argument.
like
so
you.
might agree
God doesn't
with
have a
Aquinas that God
beginning or an
exists,
end.
but think none of his arguments prove it. Second, if you disagree with an argument, you don't just get to say, yeah, you're wrong. You have to give a counter-argument.
Why not? Other
What did
people do
Aquinas
that.
get wrong, and how can you do better? Why are your reasons superior to his?
Exactly.
Remember, philosophy is a dialectic. Yes, Aquinas has been dead
Aquinas
for
was
centuries,
awesome.
but he started a conversation, and you get to participate in that when you engage with his arguments and offer your own, either in an effort to help him out by fixing flaws in his arguments while preserving his conclusion,
Well, you're not basically
or by
a fluke.
refuting his entire project.
Your
This
parents
is what it
had
means
you,
to do
and
philosophy,
they
to
had
engage with
genes
arguments
that you
about
got.
stuff that matters, and whether or not there's a God seems to matter quite a bit, particularly in the lives of theists. Today, we learned about cosmological arguments and considered 4 of them. Next time, we'll look at Aquinas' 5th argument, the teleological argument. This episode of Crash Course Philosophy is made possible by Squarespace. Squarespace is a way to create a website, blog, or online store for you and your
I'm gonna
ideas.
sub this guy.
Squarespace features a user-friendly interface, custom templates,
cool.
and 24/7 customer support. Try
Real
Squarespace at
country.
squarespace.com/crashcourse
Worship
for a special offer. Crash Course Philosophy is produced in association with PBS Digital Studios.
I'm
You can
spying
head
on
over there to
right in
channel
here.
and check out some amazing shows like PBS Idea Channel, The Chatterbox, and PBS Spacetime. This episode of Crash Course Philosophy was filmed in the Dr. Cheryl C. Kinney Crash Course studio with the help of all of these awesome people, and our equally fantastic graphics team is Thought Cafe.